Hey guys, it's Lauren McGoodwin, founder and CEO of Contessa, and I'm back with another Mentor Monday. If you've never joined Mentor Monday before, the quick description of Mentor Monday is basically at Career Contessa, we will answer your career questions. You can send them to us via DMs, you can email them to us, mentormonday@careercontessa.com, or you can join us live. We almost always do this Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you can leave comments. So this week we got some really interesting management related questions. And just so you guys know, I've started downloading past Mentor Mondays and adding them to the Career Contessa Facebook page and also our YouTube channel. So if you want to ever go back and watch any of the replays, you can, because last week we got some questions about how to manage up and what to do when you don't love your manager. So I think that kind of spurred some management questions for this week. Okay, so the first question came in, how can I learn to manage up? So I think that's a really interesting question. It definitely came out of last week, like I said. And what managing up means is like basically communicating or working really well with your manager. Sometimes you've probably heard it as like she doesn't work well on her team, but she manages up really well, right? It's like she gives a really good presentation to the boss, but she isn't really much of a team player on the team. So managing up can sometimes seem to be a negative term, but really traditionally what managing up means is how are you working well with your boss? And obviously the boss to employee relationship is really important. It's one of the reasons why people stick around at jobs. It's one of the reasons why people leave jobs. So anyway, the point being is here are some tips on how you can manage up. And I think that regardless of your relationship with your boss, these are really, really great tips. So first one is, observe your boss's behavior and communication style. So it's something that's really important, and could be with your boss or anyone on your team, is understand what's their communication style. Do they like the long-winded, background or backstory and the solution and the challenge and the whole enchilada when you're talking to them? Or do they want the bullet points, right? It's funny whenever you hear people tell stories, some people are really good at being really concise and some people tell the full story, right? It's kind of the same way when you're talking to your boss. What is their communication style, and how best can you really make your communication style fit theirs so that you guys are communicating on the same level? I always think of it like if you're not communicating on the same level, then you're sort of missing each other like this. And so the goal is to communicate so you guys can meet each other in the middle. Okay, so the next question is, think about the what's in it for me. What's in it for your boss, right? If you're managing up and you're working with them, what's in it for you? What's in it for them? I think that's something to really, I don't mean that to be like a selfish thing, but keep that in mind, because when you communicate really well with your boss, or when you manage up and you have a good relationship, your job might be a little easier. It might be easier to ask for that new project that you really want. It will just be better for your relationship. Be a proactive communicator. Something that I've noticed is that people who wait to communicate and do it far after the moment or the project has passed, it can be really hard for you and your manager to go back in time and think about, okay, what was that scenario, etc. So my point being, if you're really proactive with your communication, doing it either within 24 hours or right then and there, that can help a lot with clear things up and help you guys move forward. Do the best job you can. I was thinking about it today, and I was actually talking to a friend, and we were saying no matter what job you have, make sure that you are doing the best job you can possibly do. And I think that's really, really important when it comes to managing up with your boss, is they're going to recognize that you are working really hard and that you're doing your best, especially if you're being a proactive communicator. And that goes along with having a really good attitude. So hopefully that helps with the person who asked last week, what exactly can I do to manage up? Okay, going back to some other questions that came in, and feel free, you guys, if you want, you can put them in the comments. We'll be answering any career questions you have. Okay, so another person said, when being given a promotion, i.e. a job you didn't interview for, so a promotion probably in your current company, with a new job title and new pay, is it appropriate to negotiate the pay, or is it only appropriate to negotiate when you interview for a position? It is absolutely appropriate to negotiate your pay now that you are being basically given a brand new job. Whether you interviewed, quote unquote, interviewed for it or not, think of it this way. You've been interviewing for it. You've been working at that company and doing a really great job for a really long time. So your interview, instead of it being a couple hours or a couple days, you've been interviewing for years, right? So yes, I would absolutely encourage you to think about how can you write out your new job title so you're crystal clear on what the expectation is in this new job. I would also recommend that you think about and do some research on what salary do you want? What is a competitive salary for you? What type of other responsibilities do you want out of this role? So that's another really great important thing. So yes, it's totally appropriate. I think what you can do is before you accept the job and sign anything, you can say, I'm really excited about this opportunity. Can I have a couple days to just consider some stuff? And I think that's when you go back and you say, I would like to make a job description and I would also like to negotiate the pay on this in order to move forward. Okay, so some other management questions that came through. Okay, so this person says, hi Lauren, I'm in management and applying for jobs right now. How can I convince an interviewer that I'm able to supervise twice as many people as my current position? I often find that being female and younger and most of my peers makes it an uphill battle, even if I come in poise, confidence, and examples of diverse group dynamics, etc. So here's the thing. If you are in a management role currently and that you're applying, I'm in management applying for jobs, how can I convince an interviewer? So when it comes to convincing an interviewer, I think the more examples you have, you're right, the better. I also think that being able to convince them of here are my goals with my career, or here's what I want to work toward. I want to manage this many people. Here's how I plan on doing it. Here's how I plan on being successful in that role. Or what does this success look like to you? Like you can also ask them those questions. So if they're saying, okay, you're going to be interviewing twice as many people, you can say, yeah, and what does that look like on you from your point of view to be successful at that role? And then when they answer that question, you can talk about the skills and abilities that you have in order to fulfill that, right? I think passion goes a long way. I think having those examples to back it up, I like to call it like an evidence explosion. The more evidence you have to back up what it is that you're saying, that's fantastic. It sounds like you're already in a management position, so you can talk about how well you've managed it with those people. I think when it comes also to being a good manager, it's how well you work with other people and other personality styles and other communication styles. So maybe talk about the key characteristics that make leaders successful. Again, going back to communication, for example. I hope that helps. Okay, another person said, and I thought this was a really good question. Maybe we can throw it out there to the group to help answer it because everybody has a different way of doing this. She asked, any tips on how to manage email inboxes? A colleague told me last week that she doesn't file anything but uses search to find things. And I'm like, what? I spend so long filing, but maybe it's a waste of time. I'm with you. I file everything into its own folder and I like that. It makes me feel really organized. But I also know people who don't file anything and they don't ever remove things from their inbox and there's like 1,000 things in their inbox at all times. I think it depends on your email provider. I use Gmail and I swear sometimes when I search for stuff, I can't find it, but I'll know when I go and find it in the folder, it's in there. So anybody who's joining live, I'd love to hear if you guys have email inbox tips on how to keep that organized. So I like to create folders and files and file them away, just like what you're saying. The other thing I like to do is block my time for when I answer emails. So there are certain emails that require longer responses. I will always take those in the morning. The responses that require short answers and whatnot, I'll save those to the afternoon when my energy is a little bit lower. So I try to kind of bulk answer my emails 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and then usually like late afternoon or early evening. So the point being is I think you find the email inbox solution that works for you. Someone said for Outlook at work, I do rules that pull the specific person email into their own folder. Yep, I think that's so here's another person that uses folders. The other thing I used to do is I used to color coordinate certain things. That seemed to help a little bit, especially when I was using Outlook and even in my calendar now. Yep, I think that is really helpful. So it all depends if you're using Outlook or Gmail. I think they work pretty similarly. Okay, guys, so I think I had some more management questions, but I think that we'll save those for next week if we want to answer more management questions. If you guys have any live questions you want to send my way, go ahead and do it right now. Otherwise, we will start to wrap up. Again, my name is Lauren McGoodwin. I'm the founder and CEO of Career Contessa, a career development platform for women. And the replay of this will be on our Instagram live for 24 hours. And then I'll also download it and put it on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, so you guys can always go back and watch the replay. But thank you again for joining. We'll be back next Monday. I think it's our second or last Mentor Monday before the end of the year. So make sure you get your questions in. You can DM them to us. And also, if you go to the Career Contessa Instagram page today, which is Monday, you can click on our story, and we have actually a free webinar on Wednesday about how to ask for flexibility at work with the founder of Work, WERK. So that is free if you sign up today for it. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay for the replay later on if you don't register beforehand. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining, and I'll catch you next week. Have a good one.